being a master of ceremony, controlling the audience with your craft is powerful. To have that power, y'all motherfuckers don't understand. Unless if you've been on that stage and utilize the microphone, pause, in front of
You
a
don't have to
whole
pause the
world.
microphone. You're talking into one.
What is on your mind,
You know,
sir?
like to utilize that
Tap dancing,
power.
Christ.
It's power.
Starring Timothy Rock, Cool Care, TK, that boy Izzy, the fifth horseman, Faith, Wilmington's finest poetry.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Great Apes Cafe. We live and direct on the motherfucking airwaves. I have 2-3 visitors. I ain't gonna say visitors. One of them to my right, man. I knew this nigga is like for how long? Like,
God damn, man, that's kind of disrespectful,
right.
isn't it?
But I got
Damn.
people here, man. I'm gonna get them to introduce themselves because I've been drinking way too much. I hope that you like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment. Tell me what the fuck you think about this episode. But I'm gonna start this off to my right. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man. Who are you? Who the fuck are you?
Yo, it's your boy.
Okay.
Is what it is. Israel,
Izzy.
Izzy. You already know 910. We here in Boco, back in the stomping grounds. You know what I'm saying?
Huh.
In DA, Dutchman Acres.
Huh.
If you know, you know. Appreciate y'all.
All right, to his right. Go ahead, Sister Lord. Me skirt.
Skirt.
What's up? It's Faith. That's it.
She's scared.
Oh God, I'm from the DA.
okay,
We
sis.
in DA, whatever. Like,
Oh, she being humble. She being
okay.
humble.
To my left, what it do? What it do, Broseph?
Hey, what it is, the biggest boss. If you don't know, you lost his top.
Huh. To his left.
It's your boy Cool Kev. I'm indulging
You
right
got
now.
that heat
You
in
already
that
know.
damn swine. To his left.
It's your boy, Fifth Horseman, also known as Sparks. Mike's wide open in the building, in the outskirts of the
Yerp.
building. We in the DA. Southport knows how to party. Keep it
Huh.
going.
Put some respect on that name. And we're going to talk about poetry. We're going to start this episode with poetry. The name of this episode might be something dealing with poetry. And I
Something like that.
apologize to both my nigga Izzy and you for not being at their poetry jam. But if you look at the poetry jam,
No. On some real shit though, like even though you weren't there, because like on some real shit, like you was at work. Like, let's not get it twisted, man.
There's a
Like my man was
difference,
getting to the bag. Like
You not being there and you couldn't be there. You couldn't.
yeah, there's a
'Cause you was
difference.
taking care of
That-
priorities.
There's a
that 18 will only go
difference.
65,
But
y'all.
on some
It only
real,
go
but listen,
65.
like, hey, y'all, on some real shit, like, even though he couldn't be there, like, his folk was there. And that's like what really
That's
matters. You know
real,
what I'm
that's
saying?
real.
Like my man's Aaron and Cool
Shout out
Kev
to Cool
showed up.
Kev.
You know what
Shout
I'm
out to
saying?
Aaron for
Like
even doing that. I appreciate
TK,
y'all.
you know what I'm saying?
TK,
Like
you
they
know
show
we gonna
love
pop
and
it
show
up. We
love.
gonna
You know what I
pop it
mean?
up.
So that's the most important
Yes,
thing.
sir.
I gotta put some respect on their name because they showed up when I couldn't show up. I was kind of jealous though because I really didn't want to show up. But I want to ask y'all. I'm gonna start you off, Izzy, on this question,
Yerp.
and then we're gonna ricochet right up with to my homeboy to the left, I guess. What got you back in the scene of poetry? Like, you know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna lie, bro. You need it. You told me you go do that shit every month. You need to do that every month.
All right, so like what happened was, see how you now niggas started shit like you see what happened.
See what
was-
happened.
Nah,
We already fucking. No.
No, but like real shit, no, like we had took a hiatus not because we wanted to, but just because of timing and certain shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
the last event that we did was literally like right when the pandemic had hit.
Literally.
So like we didn't know what was gonna happen after that point.
Like,
you know
we
what I'm
literally
saying?
thought it was gonna be like, 2 to 4 weeks, and then we'd be back.
For
And
real.
Unfortunately, things did not play out like that. We all know that like several businesses and buildings and suffered because of the pandemic and closed down. And we was just comfortable with not performing because of the pandemic. Then, one of our old venues was like, we're gonna try to do it without you, and then he tell us, and then it's
That
like,
sounds
okay.
treacherous.
I'm not
No,
gonna
no,
I'm not gonna try to speak on it one way or another.
What I put it like this: business, regardless, business is business.
Yeah,
you know what
true,
I'm saying.
true.
So at the end of the day, I don't fault that business for doing what they got to do because they still got to make money, regardless if I'm there or if he's there. You know what I mean? Like they still gotta get shit in the door.
And I disagree with him.
No. Shit could have gone better.
It could have went. Yeah.
No.
Things could have been done differently.
Right.
I will say
Yeah,
that,
you
but
can
I'm
still
not.
make money and follow a certain league of
Protocol.
Protocol, right?
Yeah.
That's affiliated with your friends and your comrades.
Yeah.
You know, prime example. I always tell my nigga Izzy or anybody who's in the podcast, if you bring somebody on an episode, I want you on the episode. I didn't bring that person on the episode. Let them get the credibility. You know what I mean? Let them get the shine. That's how I see it. But anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
No, you was real with that because I really wholeheartedly feel similar to what you were saying. Because on the one hand, yes, I do admit, I understand business is business and you gotta take care of yourself. However, given the 10-year tenure that we had,
Damn, how many years?
A decade,
10
bro.
years.
A
And this is
decade.
before, like, okay, so real shit. The prior episode that you did with me and Tim, we touched on this, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mike's Wide Open as a conglomerate, because let's call it what the fuck it is. It's a fucking conglomerate. No, real shit. Mike's Wide Open is an establishment that has been around longer than I've been around. Mike's Wide Open is one of them things that when you talk about poetry and you talk about Wilmington, you were talking about something that some people would consider a myth.
Yeah,
let's keep it a stat.
It's
Like
real.
shit. Mike's Wide Open has been around.
So for my
decades.
audience who don't know what that is, what I want you to reiterate.
Let me
dive
spit
into that.
OG on the Mike's Wide Open term, because Mike's Wide Open initially, and I'm gonna say this for real. Rest in peace to my boy Topic out of Fayetteville. We was at the Urban Renaissance hosted by my man Cartier. Rest in peace to him as well. We lost a lot of good people over the last few years, you know, heart attack and gun violence and whatever. But we was right out there and we was just freestyling outside of the event afterwards. And in my head, I was like, yo, this right here, we need to be able to do this whenever. Just to be able to come together and have some artistic moments whenever.
Right.
And not necessarily be associated with a venue because the venue closed. Whether it's forever or whether it's for a few hours, the venue can close.
Right.
But the art lives on. So that right there, in my mind, was the first meeting of Mike's Wide Open. So rest in peace to my dude Topic. He's an honorary member. And I always give honor to him. And what we did was we came together, mostly in Wilmington. Some Fayetteville cats came and looked out. It's all 910.
Right.
But we always wanted to make sure that no matter what, even if it's like, even during the pandemic, when our man Tim had an issue going on with the court system because he was an activist. And
I know. Shout out to my homeboy.
Shout out to TMI, man. They tried to have him.
Tim, man. They try to damn prosecute him, have him locked up and shit. You know who you are.
For real. And then we tried to come together to give him some support and raise money for his cause. So Mike's Wide Open was able to do an event for him straight up outdoors. We didn't even need nothing, no permit or nothing. We just went outside and people knew the name. They knew Mike's Wide Open. They weren't looking for a venue. They weren't looking for, so-and-so. Like, the brand was in the art. If we make the art itself the brand, then no matter what happens, because especially in the Wilmington area, or anywhere in 910, clubs come and go.
So the art basically speaks for itself.
The art is meant to speak for itself. And that's why we never really, we never take down one for ourselves when it comes to Mike's Wide Open. As far as our shows. Well, our individual features that we do out of town, we do take money for that for ourselves because we are driving and putting in the work. But in town, anything we take, we give back to the art. We've never taken a dime and kept it for ourselves, not to pay down one. I swear to God, me and Tim personally have him sit in the house with broken lights, with money in our pocket because it wasn't ours. We
that's respect. I believe that because Tim is a good dude. He always putting numbers on the board. I seen him help out people who's homeless. I seen him.
He's a James Baldwin woman.
He got. I ain't gonna lie.
You really trying to solidify that shit?
No, it works.
I'm over here trying to keep it. Shout out to my nigga Tim. You know who you is.
James Baldwin, the woman.
But when I get about what I'm gonna ask is, what got you interested? Both of you, y'all can answer this. What got y'all interested in poetry in the first place?
Well, hold on. Before we get into that, like going back to like what got us like into doing it again, because I know that's the first question you asked. I know we kind of got off on a tangent.
Sorry about that.
No.
Go back.
Hey, yo, shit happens. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
freedom of speech.
Yeah. But so what initially got us into like going back into doing poetry, and this, which like fifth, like real talk, like I respect you for this shit, but like my man's even pointed out to some people after the event. He was like, yo, Izzy is the one that orchestrated this whole shit. Like, you know what I'm
100%,
saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I did it was because personally, like, I know this pandemic like is gotten to a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, in terms of like a mental aspect. And
Drink to that.
I'm human. You know what I'm yo, real shit. Like, hey, but
The pandemic fuck everybody up.
real shit, like I'm human too. And so is any other poet. Like we all why do you think we're poets? We're humans. Like we we are.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Great Apes Cafe. I want you to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, click that bell, and tell me how the fuck you feel about this podcast. Anyway, go ahead and continue what you're talking about. I think it was you who was talking. What's going on, Izzy? Why did y'all decide it? What got y'all back?
Oh yeah, it
into
got
the
us back
whole
into the shit. Yeah. All
move of
right.
poetry?
So like pretty much what got us like really what got me into being motivated enough to like put on another show was the fact like I was saying earlier about the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? Like we've been out of it for a minute, but I don't see that as a bad thing, you know what I'm saying? Cuz for example, like me, him, and Tim, we're pretty, you know, we're the pillars of Mike's Wide Open at this point. You know what I'm saying?
When they say Tim, and that's about me. That's about Tim Joyner. Shout out to Tim
TMI.
Joyner.
TMI. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
TMI. But anyway, like we're the pillars of Mike's Wide Open. You know what I'm saying? We're what's keeping this thing going, and we need. I think that even though our ending was so abrupt and without any type of like announcement, regardless, it was healthy for all of us in a sense that it gave us some time to breathe. Even though we were all
It wasn't even an ending, it was a hiatus.
it was a hiatus for on some real shit, but it was a hiatus that we couldn't even say, "Hey, yo, we're going to be taking a dip for a minute." Like between the pandemic and the behind the
activism
scenes,
and
the
all-
behind the scenes politics and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
it
always
really
politics.
didn't give us. Yeah, it really didn't give us that, you know, that time to really be like, hey, yo, we gonna take a break
Well,
for a minute.
let me
you know what I'm
interject on
saying?
this. What is y'all, now that y'all back in the game of doing poetry, before I even ask what's your contingency plan on making more poetry, what got y'all into the genre? What got y'all into the music or the vibe or the ideology of doing poetry in the first place? Like, you know, and before you, I already know you got the answer for this. What got you introduced into
Well, you
poetry?
know, first things first, since I'm a bit of an OG, I'm older than I look. I'm 40 this year.
Okay,
So,
they say 40 to do 30. Okay.
It's not,
okay.
but that's a good lie. I'm going to rock with it. But back in the day, yo, for real, I just always used to write in my books and so forth. You know, because first things first, I'm a fiction writer. You know, I'm a nerd. I do comic books and all that stuff.
Okay. Where you from? Where you from? Shout
Born
out.
and raised in Wilmington, the Port
Okay,
City,
okay,
910.
okay.
South Side, stand up.
Okay.
North Side as well, but you know, that's why I was born on the South Side. So
Okay. Shout
that's
out
my
to the
people's
South
is.
Side. I don't even know what side I live at. That's a damn
Well,
shame.
you got to know what side you live at. You the East Side?
I don't
Nah,
know.
definitely
he
north
live up.
Oh, you North Side?
Nah, he live up 17th.
Man, he's south side.
He live up 17th
17th and what?
on the other side of the hospital. You know where the music store is, right?
Oh, McFadden Music. Oh,
where
you in the
McFadden used to
bird.
be. Yeah, he
You in
lives
the bird.
behind
You in the
there.
bird. You good. You living good. But back in the day, though, but for real, no, South Side stand up, North Side as well. East Side, I rock with y'all too. There is no West Side. I don't care what y'all say. Leaning don't count. But what I'm saying is this. Look,
I got
I'm not
peoples
going
out
to
there.
get into that song. Leaning is not Wilmington. You know what I'm saying? Castle Hayne is not Wilmington. You know, it's like the song. But anyway, no, seriously. I started off as a fiction writer, and I used to write anyway, because I always took like advanced English classes and everything. I ain't take advanced all classes, but English was my thing, so I took advanced English classes. and so
You
forth.
would have did well in Miss Picky class.
So I always
Why you
I
gotta-
always had stuff on the books, and I remember I went to this joint.
She gonna watch this. I want you to know that.
Okay, let her watch it.
Hey,
We
I
rocking,
know
we all solid.
continue.
We ain't saying nothing terrible.
We ain't saying nothing terrible. We love you.
But I went out to this spot. It was back in the day when the Juggling Gypsy was doing their own thing. Juggling Gypsy.
Shout out to Bash.
Shout out to Bash. It's the Bazaar now,
It's
but it's the
Bazaar.
same place.
Yeah.
But they had a little something. I went and wet my chops out there. And, you know, my first slam, because poetry slam is different than just an open mic poetry.
Right.
Poetry slam is a competition.
Mm.
And it's like winner take all competition. They make cuts every round. And if you're a new artist, that's kind of difficult for you because you don't even know what type of competition you're stepping into. You never used your art as competition before.
Right.
So when that happened right there, I went to the competition and my OGs didn't fully prepare me for it. It was they told me it was going on, but they didn't fully prepare me for the possibility of like losing, and I lost hard. And then,
you got bodied.
bro, I got bodied because I had no idea. Because like, here's the thing, but
hold up. Before you even go into depth, I want to, because you still didn't answer my question.
That's part of the question.
Okay, go ahead, answer. Go ahead, speak it. Go ahead, man.
That's part of the answer. Because at that point, I was at a stage of my life where I was either I quit altogether because I took that L, and some L's is hard to take. I took that L because something I would never thought I would never take an L on. It's like, this is my art. How you gonna get my art L? But I took that L, and I took it as a motivation to keep going. Because I went to Fayetteville with the illustrious Mr. Neil Ray, who has the longest running open mic in North Carolina, in Fayetteville. Shouts out to the 910 Vietnam. He took us under his wing and he let us rock out at his show Sunday nights at the Coffee Scene. And it was solid. And all the love I got out of that and all the inspiration I got out of that, I got to keep this going because I need the same vibe back in Wilmington. Right. For people like me who don't know how to take L's yet. So it's not about...
So you like you today, you could take an L.
Me today, I take several L's. I was in Richmond not too long ago, and people thought I should have took the W, but I took an L. Like, if you don't win, it's an L. I don't care. If you take it second, third, it's an L.
It depends. The crowd, sometimes the crowd choose a false king.
Sometimes. You see with LeBron James.
But look at it like this. So, like, with poetry slams and then with being a poet, like at least an experienced poet, I'm not even going to say a veteran because a veteran and an experienced poet, that's still two different things.
Two separate things, completely.
Completely. But I consider myself an experienced poet. I consider Fifth to be an experienced, borderline a veteran poet.
I think I've moved on to veteran status at this point.
Facts, and I'm not going to disagree with that. So with that being said, like, to be in a predicament like that or to be an experienced poet, you have to have taken L's. That's just how the community works.
It's almost like similar to the rap battles in the sense.
Yeah.
It's
like, to interject, poetry has a more, like, not an acoustic, that's not the word, like a more, there's like a conceptual concept you have to follow.
Well, so look at it like this. All right, so doing poetry in the sense of there's not a competition is completely separate from a poetry slam. A poetry slam.
Which is what you said earlier. Hold on, let me interject.
Yeah.
What was it like? Y'all two, because
I want to say this.
I wasn't
right.
there. What was the poetry? What was the vibe like?
Oh, let me come
what
alive.
What was the vibe? I'm mad. My black ass wasn't there.
Let me come alive, man. I ain't say shit in a minute.
Go ahead, Kev. Go ahead.
The thing I did, like, it was people that was not part of it that came and wanted to do poetry. That you ain't know those girls. Them girls came up, they wanted to do that shit because they wanted to do it. Like, how do you feel about the girls, like random people just coming up there?
Keep it a band.
Oh, you knew her?
Oh, no, this is a funny story behind this, and this is on record. Like, this is, we on the podcast, nigga. This on record. So, everybody who was on bill for that show, and I even think Chuck as well. Everybody that was on bill for that show has been at a Mike's Wide Open and performed at a Mike's Wide Open event before.
Except for that one guy, the guy with the notebook who just came out.
No, Chuck, I think, I think TMI said he might have come to a show before. That's what I'm saying. Like,
but he never performed.
Okay, all right, cool. Okay, so minus Chuck, who shout out to you, my guy, because you are a real one, and I hit him up to come out, to be on the interview tonight. He couldn't make it, but shout out to you. Also, shout out to Linda Restrepo. I hit you up Linda as well. So that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I invited all of them to come out tonight. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it. Short notice. It's cool. Me and Tim will chop it up. We'll have them on later.
When's it? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you and my sister-in-law Faith a question. When's your next show? When's y'all next show? And sister, are you gonna be able to come out?
Yeah, just let me know when.
Okay, I'll let you know. Okay.
All right, so
I'll put some numbers on the board. I gotta make sure everybody got their turn.
All right, cool. All right, so the next show is gonna be in March. All right, I'll let you know.
People looking for the third Friday.
March 15th, my birthday.
Hey, what you doing?
The third Friday in March.
Let me know when.
Down with it. Supposedly.
Yes.
If any changes come, check out Mike's Wide Open on Facebook. That's our site. You know what I'm saying? Keep people updated.
Yeah.
Y'all mind if we make an episode out of that?
Hell yeah, go for it.
I mean, y'all practically,
Like I can't wait to see it. Like
I mean, y'all practically all right. So all right. So
Hey, yo, it's all family now, man.
real talk to anybody that's watching Great Apes right now that hasn't been watching an episode before or seen me on here on this shit before. But like me and Tim go way back.
Two flat tires on a 1986 Cadillac.
Facts.
Damn.
So like
Two flat.
So like real
So
shit,
flat,
like he hit me up and was like, "Yo, let me record the show." Or Aaron hit me up. My man's, you know what I'm saying,
Shout
behind the
out to
scenes, you already
Aaron.
know what it is. DJ Barbarian. Like Barbarian hit me up and
That's
was
right.
like, "Hey, I'm gonna come through and record the show." And now, you know what I'm saying, we talking shop after that. So glorious things to come, and I'm gonna keep it at that. But real shit, like to like wrap up everything we've been talking about right now, like it's come a long way, and the reason why is because me personally, the reason why I got the man, this is so fucking symbolic. Man, this fucking fire, the reason how I got the fucking fires kindling and starting for the shit to get
He
back up,
rekindled himself.
pretty much, but it wasn't just for me.
Right.
Like I did it low key because like, yeah, I was feeling some type of way being on lockdown or like I'm on my grind every single day and I've gotten used to that because of the pandemic, so
Well,
I don't got no outlet.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Wait. I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna finish thought.
Go ahead, finish.
Finish thought. All right, so being on that shit every day, like you lose track of what keeps you healthy.
Yeah.
And what I mean that is like what keeps you therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? What's your day-to-day shit? And this shit, this poetry shit, on some Cat Williams shit, this shit right here, nigga. This shit right here, nigga. This shit right here. No, real shit. That's the shit that kept me going. And the fact that we didn't have that shit for the longest, man, it was fucking with me. And fucking with me in a way that I didn't like. So I literally had to take it upon myself. Like I consulted my man's over here.
And yo, in real talk though, it was at the right time when he was able to manage to get that venue, because that same week I was having like this feeling like this down, depressed, down low feeling that it was like, yo, man, like the city don't even need us no more. We put all this work in for 10 years and people don't even seem to care.
Nah, but
sure
people
enough,
do care. Though.
somebody had hit, one of our supporters had hit me up in the middle of the DMs talking about something. Yo, I was just at a show and I'm so used to y'all shows and y'all shows are so life-giving, and I was like thrown off by this show.
Right.
And it was like people really do miss how we do it and how we bring it, because we put the artist first and we put the art.
We put
itself.
everything into it, man. Like I don't give a fuck about nothing else. We put everything into this shit.
TK, what when you got there, what was the vibe when you saw? Because I missed the show.
It was a dope vibe. I mean, everybody was real chill. I was looking for where everybody was at so I could, get that to the crew. So it was a dope vibe. I loved everybody that came out. And that the Linda thing really, that I really liked hearing that. So
And TK, you ain't never been to our shows before. You ain't never been to our shows
I ain't never
before,
been.
ever.
That's what's sad, and this is sad. Look, I support. Let me tell you something about poetry. First of all, my grandmother was an English professor, so I support. I very well much so more than anybody here support anybody with the craft that they have when it comes to arts. And I didn't start reading until I was 10 years old. So poetry was an outlet. Rap was an outlet for me to learn how to read. You know what I mean? So I love what they're doing. This is why I wanted to interview. It wasn't like to
TK,
try to jump on a how you say jump on a
bandwagon.
No, I've
Like
been
LeBron
a
James.
fan. I'm not trying to be a stan. You know what I mean? I've been a fan. You know what I mean? His mama right here was my English teacher. Shout out to Miss Spanky. Miss Spanky. Shout out
Love
to
you,
Miss
Mom.
Spanky.
Love you, Mom.
I just have
Shouts
mad
out.
respect for poetry.
All love.
So shout out to that. And this is why I had to do
Hey,
that episode. This is Great Apes Cafe.
All right, so while he's getting his sinus infection fixed.
The sinus infection is
hold up, because I'm
non-sequitur.
gonna talk to Faye. I'm gonna talk to Faye for a minute.
Okay, we're not talking about the sinus infection no more.
All right, we're gonna talk to Faye real quick. All right, so sis, let me ask you a question. All right, on some real shit. Have you ever been to a poetry event?
No.
All right, so what do you know about poetry?
That
Like, what's
Timothy do a
your
little bit
experience?
poetry?
Hold up, Tim. Hold
That's about it.
Hold up. This is the Faye. This is the Faye hour. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay,
This is the
Faye.
Faye section. So go ahead.
I ain't never really been to
Damn, right?
You ain't been to
I
poets?
was thinking
No,
about-
it's cool. It's
I mean,
cool.
I listen to Tim all the time, though. Like,
No, I feel
we
you.
do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, get it shit.
Yeah.
All right, so but even still, like, what about deaf poetry? Yeah, like deaf poetry, Russell Simmons. Do you know anything about that? No?
No.
Okay, but that's fine. That's okay. All right. I'm not doing this, for you to feel, like inferior or nothing like that.
She know.
Cause like,
She gangster. Chelsea.
I'm
My
not.
sister-
yeah, no.
I'm not a gangster.
no, but you
I-
real though. But
Yeah,
you sitting
I
here
just-
because you
yeah,
really,
I
you
My
just-
really
sister-in-law
your shit.
gangster.
Nah, because she real on her shit. All right, cool.
Girl.
But
Shouts out to
the
Jay.
thing about poetry is that everybody at some point is ignorant about that shit.
Yeah, for
Even
real.
me.
For real.
Even
There's always
me.
a level of ignorance.
Like,
until
I'm
you
a
get into it, fully immersed.
facts. Like, I consider myself like almost a master at my craft. But when I was starting this shit, I was the dumbest motherfucker you could see.
I mean, we all were.
But I had passion.
I don't know.
But I'm not, but that's what I'm not getting at here. What I'm getting at to you is that, like, as someone who has not experienced poetry, like, what is your perception?
Now that's actually a good thing though. Can you imagine a cup that's empty?
I mean, I
No, no,
heard
no.
For real.
poetry before. Like,
yeah.
That's-
You
that
heard
goes back
poetry
to
before.
me,
What's your
it's more
perception?
like-
Right.
feelings, like sadness, like
Okay,
That's
so
gonna be all of
this
that.
gonna sound like on some light skinned nigga shit. Like, bro,
He is like
this gonna sound like some Drake shit, but bro, hold up.
I'm just apologizing for your
Like
light
love,
skinned.
Nah, but
sweetness,
this shit,
like-
but this some real shit though. All right, so fuck with me on some Drake shit, on some light skin shit. What if I told you it was more than some shit like that? What if I told you it was more than that? Like, what if I told you that poetry was more than some sad shit? It was
yeah, but I
more than-
believe you
Drake,
because I know
shouts out
it's
to
like
Drake.
different kinds and stuff. Like I just
Yeah.
never been to like.
She'll come out
You
to
never
one.
got a
If I'm
chance
going
to
to one,
experience one.
if I'm going to one of your events that's coming up next month, first of all, let me interject. Me and my sister-in-law birthday is in the month of March, and you have it a March situation. We about to go out there. You know what I mean? That's just facts.
Nah, we'll treat you right. Like, let me tell you, when I say this with the utmost confidence, and I say this with I keep everything bent. All right, like, there are a few places in North Carolina where you're gonna find a poetry event that's gonna like really put you in that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really the vibe. You feel me? Like, I can name only 2 other places off the top of my head that really gonna give you that like classic poetry or that poetry shit that you're looking for. And that's in Durham, North Carolina. Shout out to the Sana Hanu and Bull City
Okay.
Slam team. Y'all already know what it is. I'm throwing it up because I respect y'all motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
And then shout out to Fayetteville, North Carolina. Shout out to Infinite and all the motherfuckers out that way
Infinite
that
don't
be
really
doing their
do it
damn
no
thing.
more in Charlotte. It
I
goes
know,
down to,
not in Charlotte, but like in Fayetteville.
Fayetteville.
And in
Infinite
Charlotte
move.
too.
Infinite
Shout out
move.
to Jay Ward and Blues out in Charlotte as well.
Almost
Like,
up. Shouts out to Kinston as well. The thing about North Carolina is we're not New York, we're not Atlanta.
we're spread.
So, but the thing that keeps us strong is we all travel to every other spot in North Carolina.
Well, what I noticed though, and I gotta interject, and don't try to come after me for the words I'm about to say.
we won't, long as
But
you solid.
it's solid. But what I realized as an artist myself is that a lot of motherfuckers really don't care. Like they say, "Oh, I fuck with you. I might collaborate with you," but there's no real support. A lot of artists don't support other artists. Do you agree?
Support
Let me
is
get your
touch and go.
perspective.
Support is touch and go. But there's a lot of extenuating factors as well. We as artists, we like to take things
Tell me
personal.
Tell me your insinuating factor then.
Right,
Let me
okay.
hear
Folks,
that.
number one, like personally, as an artist, I used to take it personal that people was always like, late to the show or say they're gonna come and don't come. You
Well,
know what I'm saying?
let me interject. I apologize for being late. to
Not
my
you.
own damn
I'm not talking
podcast.
about you.
I know,
Again,
I know,
said
but
don't take-
I'm being
Not
narcissistic
you.
right now.
What
I'm
Monica
making it
say,
about
don't take
me.
it personal.
I'm being narky right now. I'm making it about me. Continue, mother.
Okay.
Continue. Damn.
But don't take it personal.
I,
People do that, but like you say, you had to work. Other people have to work. Things come up. Just because we're passionate, you can't expect you from other people.
right.
Just because I'm passionate about this, don't mean that someone is as passionate as me.
Right.
They might be passionate, but I had to go see grandma in the hospital. Oh, I had to see so and so. And as long as they end up coming through at some point, I don't care. Hold up.
We got a little bit too much fire.
Yeah, that shit got.
Yeah, I spit hot fire, but I ain't used to having to come out here.
I would love to hear what you had to ask.
But what I'm saying is this. As long as they end up supporting you in some way, shape, or form, they not phony. You know what I'm saying? They
Right. For
still
real.
coming through. So as long as they was there in some capacity, that might be all they can give to you. We like to think because we put our all into the art that everyone else is going to do that too. No, everybody's not you.
That's true. That's
And
true.
I've learned to
get-
accept that. Because I had
Right.
that's a lesson I had to learn. Because I would take it personally when, I'm doing my all trying to get this person and that person to come to the show,
Right.
and they ain't coming to the show. They got lives. You feel me?
Right.
So it's not like
You
they
get
was in there with if you was Izzy and you in there like I'm in there, and then you bail, then I'm gonna take it personal because you in there like I know you in there like me.
Right.
But if you're just a regular Joe, and it's like, oh, I say I'm an artist, I'm trying to learn this, that, and the third, I ain't gonna press you.
Right.
Like you there when you there, and when you're not, you're not. I just had to move on with my life because otherwise it will fucking tear you down to think about every single conceivable person.
I used to take it personal, but I realized
Exactly.
But
realize it's one
it's
small
an
thing.
experience thing. This one, it's going back to that being an experienced poet and a veteran poet. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the things that you learn.
But do you feel like you
already
have
know
support
of.
from your community? Like,
I do.
Well, honestly,
Good,
you have to be
good.
I
grateful
feel
for
like-
who shows up.
facts.
You
You
do.
have to be grateful because it's nobody's job to show up for you.
And you said, do I feel
So
like
I'm extraordinarily grateful for whoever who has showed up along the line.
and that's community. So when
Exactly.
you say that, do I feel like I'm supported by my community? Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
we
really
wouldn't be
feel
doing
like I'm
this if we
supported
weren't.
my community, or otherwise we wouldn't have turnouts for the shows that we have.
Exactly.
Otherwise,
quit
you
a
wouldn't
long
have
time ago.
Exactly. Otherwise, you wouldn't have people literally calling the new venue for their inaugural show since the pandemic.
Immediately.
They called my guy. The owner came to me and said, "Hey, yo, I've had people call this location asking about this show." When I heard that,
And
I
goes
was
back
like,
to the
"Word?"
branding. That goes back to the brand name because people know Mike's Wide Open. They know it's a certain caliber of show they're going to receive.
because I know everybody like, what's going on? I'm happy when I first heard Israel going back into the poetry scene, because before the podcast, I heard he was in the poetry scene. I told Izzy when I met you at that damn that one bar, we talked about this
Juggling
shit.
Gypsy, man.
No, the other bar, I can't think of the name.
We're not talking about the name right now. I know what bar
Husk,
it is.
yeah, Husk.
It was Husk. Yeah, it
I
was
said,
Husk.
bro,
Yeah.
keep doing. And this is like back in what's 2017, 2016.
Something like that.
He was in the military still then.
Yeah.
I said, bro, keep
Shout out to
doing
folks still in
what
the military,
fuck
active
you
duty.
doing.
We
Shout
love
out
you.
to active duty, yeah, all of that. Shout out to the military, facts. I said, bro, keep doing that poetry. Like he just was really, really getting into the gristle of things, you know, not the meat, pause, not the chicken bone.
Why
the
he pause on
gristle.
it?
You know what I mean?
He was right.
When I'm talking about is, I said, bro, keep doing what you're doing. Like poetry is eclectic in its own like vibe, in its own energy that's similar to like cipher rapping. I used to always do cipher. Do a cipher. I never was a battle rapper. I was a cipher rapper.
We did
But,
a
you know,
cipher
like-
before this podcast began.
I'm a
For
cipher
real.
rapper for real. Like you throw me in the cipher, that's me. I'm on my Usain Bolt. Put me as an anchor on the end of the team. I make sure everybody wins.
All right, so
You know what I mean?
keep this. All right, you said that poetry is eclectic, which to a lot of mainstream or modern people, it can be eclectic, or it can be something that is not the norm or the mainstream.
I like
But
that.
when
though.
you get into like the
but
meat-
it could be raw. RP
It
to
is,
DMX.
but that's
What-
what
look what
no,
how
no,
he
no.
did
It is raw, but like that's what I'm saying. When you get into the meat and potatoes of it,
Right.
poetry is the essence of everything that you love. Think
Yeah.
about it. Poetry in itself is spoken word, is word. There is no beat. There is no. I mean, sometimes it can
It's
be
more
on albums.
vulnerable though. I feel like I mean,
No. It's not. You think that's more vulnerable. There's nothing that makes it more or less vulnerable than me listening to like Schoolboy Q talk about like the trials and tribulations of
I agree
having to
with
sling
Israel
that
only
thing.
75%. The
Yeah, with the
25% factor
75%.
is
All
it
right,
is
so
vulnerable. For me,
Look,
I
look,
would say
I
for me
understand
though.
what you're saying.
No,
because
Like
it's-
for
I get
me,
what
when
you're
I
saying
go on a
too,
because there's no
poetry,
accompaniment.
It's
there's no
vulnerable.
accompaniment. I can't. If I
it's
trip,
acapella.
facts. It's
Okay, I see what
vulnerable.
you're saying. I see.
I'm
There's no
out there.
support.
They know
There's
who's
no
right there.
support. Okay, all right, never mind. I see what you're saying.
right.
All right, yeah. No, you're right. There's no support.
I
It's
like
just
that,
you.
though.
It's you and your words.
Like if I made it, if my black ass made it to that poetry jam, I would have got up there.
it's
But
just
a part of me
but-
would have been nervous.
But look at it like this. Look at what we're doing right now. We all sitting here as a collective talking around the fireplace.
Facts. Artists.
You know what I'm saying? 10,000 years ago, our ancestors, the first humans, was doing the same thing. This is how we entertained. They ain't had no TV, they ain't had no music, no nothing. They would just sit around and tell stories and talk about life. And the
Right.
stories would illustrate lessons that you were supposed to learn in life or experiences that you went through
Right.
and something. And this is the exact same thing. You said, so we just keeping it going.
Right.
what we
see what
doing
I'm
is
saying?
primeval.
So let me ask you
whatever.
about this
Primordial.
Primordial.
let me
That's
ask you
what I
about
meant.
this
It's primordial.
primordial,
Yeah, what we're doing is
old,
primordial.
ancient aspect of the fire that rekindles the soul with which enlighten men when it comes to poetry. When is your next performance?
It's gonna be the what
Third
is-
Friday in March. That's
Yeah,
what we
third
planning
Friday
at
in
Morning
March.
Glory
What
Coffee
time?
House.
It's gonna be at 7 p.m. how we did the last show.
Yeah.
Where
I know
at?
everything.
We gonna be there.
Morning
Be there.
Morning Glory Coffee House.
on Dawson,
Facts.
Right
right
Morning
next
Glory
to
Coffee
across from
House.
Hillcrest.
And I'm
So
So-
y'all
gonna
hood
be there.
mugs right out there.
All right, so
I'm
I
gonna
won't.
be there.
Don't meet us there. Beat us there.
So we around
Right.
we around the campfire. I'm
There
gonna
won't
do
be an actual campfire. The only fire will be on the mic.
facts.
Ain't the mugs outside smoking.
Yo,
All right, so
Cigarettes.
I wanna-
smoking cigarettes.
yeah. All right,
what
so
you gotta say,
that's
yeah.
what I was gonna say. All right, so TK, so have you been to a poetry event before? I'm
I
asking you the same
have.
question as
I
Faye.
have. And I've been a part of a couple.
All right, so let me.
Okay,
So, how
okay.
do you feel about the one that we put on? Because I know it
That-
was the first one that you've
Right.
been to that we put on.
I enjoyed it thoroughly. The Linda one stuck out to me the most because I want to say like that was a transcendent feeling, and I understood where she was coming from and the passion of where she was coming from with it.
Mhm.
So that I love that, and I love all the artists that came out. Please believe it. And TMI, good brother. We go back in the day. Shout out to the port. Everybody was good and it was humble, and I love being there. So yeah,
That's right.
it was great.
I'm mad I wasn't able to make it. I mean,
It's
I
okay.
mean,
we've already excused you. Stop bringing it up.
Yeah,
but
for
I'm
real.
forgetting
Stop,
about it. I feel
stop.
I'm kind of jealous. My whole squadron
Hold on,
made it there. You know what I mean? They heard the poetry.
I mean,
And
that's all the
what I was
more
gonna
reason
ask.
to watch
Like,
the
all right,
episode.
Kev.
All the more
Kev,
reason for you to watch the episode.
Kev.
that you gonna put out.
What stood out? What stood out for you at the show? Like, what was it that made you be like, yo, I'm glad I'm here, or yo, like I'm fucking with this shit. Like, what was it?
I ain't gonna lie, man. Like it was real good poetry, but I just like how people come up and like I said, man, it was like I seen like how it was organized, but it's crazy. Like something like the event that we was at, like it was people that would just walk up. But I like how you was like, yo, you know what? Anybody, you know what I'm saying, in the crowd, like you know what I'm saying, tap me on my shoulder. Then you just started seeing hella people like. Hella different acts come up. Like,
And
I
you
was
noticed
paying
that.
attention.
See, you noticed that.
Yeah, I
You
was
noticed
paying attention.
motherfuckers
I was
coming
like,
up to me.
damn. I was like, damn.
And
Like,
see, that's
my
how
man,
you have to keep it because you never know when the next voice is gonna show up. So you have to keep it open. That's the
Let me
voice.
say
Give
this.
him that
Shout out to
opportunity.
OWG too with my nigga
I ain't
Kev.
gonna lie.
Yeah,
I
shout
want to
out.
do a poem.
Kev was bugging the OWG.
I want to do
Yeah,
a
he's
poem
out there
so
for
bad.
that's the who
He
that
lives in
the old-
Southport
the
as well.
old white dude.
Yeah, man,
Yo,
the old-
okay,
the
so
old-
like-
stands for
Shout
old white
out
guy.
to him.
Yeah, it's
Shout
really
out
all right.
to
So
him.
he
yo,
was pretty dope.
peep
Shout out
this.
to OWG.
Shout out OWG. He's
Shout
actually
out.
he's a Brunswick transplant. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
he
great. That was
he
awesome.
he does shows at Brunswick Little Theater. But my man's shout out.
By
to
the
you.
way, he say he looking for girls. He looking
Yes.
for a few guys. But he
Yes,
looking
for
for
his
girls.
For his
plays.
plays.
for his plays,
He got
for
plays
hey
and
for
shit
Brunswick
like
Little
that.
You ain't know how
Theater.
y'all locked up in the dungeon and nothing.
He
You
said
got
he
No,
got enough
nah, he
dudes,
ain't
so
like
I
that.
can't
He
even
ain't
I
like
can't
that.
get in that. So
Ain't no Rick
Fuck
James
outta
stuff.
here. We talk about
For plays.
BDSM now. What
Plays,
No.
not a dungeon.
Plays.
For plays. It's on the level.
Nah,
Solid.
man, but that's what we're known for is bringing that diversity. Like OWG, I can't remember how he found out about our shows, but man, when he started coming to our shows,
He started coming and never stopped. He always
Yeah,
started to come.
he
through.
always came, no matter if it was himself or
That
him and
was
his
great.
wife. Like this man driving all the way from where we at right now in Southport, North Carolina,
He's
all
a
the way to
retired individual.
Wilmington.
He's
He
like 70 years old.
retired. And he'll bring him and his wife, and they'll just come to the show. I swear to God, like on my
He's
life,
very
his
hip,
wife would
very
sit
hip.
in the corner, and I swear to you, she gave off the most like just supportive energy.
Yeah, very
She-
loving individual.
Shout out to that.
She would
Because
just,
I've been at plenty of situations and shows with my clique who didn't like where we was at because of the supporting energy wasn't it. And you know who you
no,
are.
but she
I'm not
was
gonna say your
there.
Right.
She was
But
there,
the support was
and
there.
you could
The
tell
support was there.
exactly. You could tell that it wasn't just about him, and with him, it wasn't just about him and her. It was about what was
they
going
wanted to share
on.
with the
Right.
community.
Right.
Let me interject real quick. So sis,
Interject it.
when's your birthday again? Because my birthday in March.
March,
Hold on, back. What happened?
March 15th.
Okay, but in the microphone, when's your birthday? That's what make
March
sure.
15th.
Okay, so me and you gonna end up going to the poetry jam. At what date is your poetry jam?
It's the third Friday in March.
Third
Which
Friday,
is
Friday, which
when
is-
we're having the show.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so me and you
yes.
gonna be there, right?
Yeah, we will be there.
Okay. I'm just making sure, you
Might have
know.
to make it a
I'm
celebration
making sure,
show.
you know, because shout out to the Aries, shout out to the March Madness.
Oh yeah,
Listen,
Aries for life. I'm
I
an
never
April
been
Aries.
to
Okay,
one.
okay,
I
okay,
wanna
March
go.
Aries. Okay,
That's
okay,
right,
okay,
that's
okay,
right.
okay.
Aries for
That's
life.
right,
Got
yeah,
you.
right.
Got you.
Great.
Shout out
Got
to the
you.
Aries.
Right.
Aries is the, we the
best.
realest nigga. You know, let me tell you about Aries. We the
best.
leader of the Zodiacs. I just don't know.
Aries.
The what?
the area. We
We
the
the
best.
leader of the whole
You
zodiac.
wish.
Yeah, we are. We are. That's where it
Taurus
starts.
run the world.
I don't know. Taurus
Taurus run the world.
Taurus
Let me tell you
loves to
something.
eat,
Taurus
sleep.
run the world.
Taurus loves
Loyal.
food and rest.
They're loyal until you fuck up their loyalty.
Yeah,
I fuck,
right.
you know what I mean?
No. Taurus is cool. My boy TMI, Taurus. He don't care about none of that. But Taurus love to eat and sleep. So I rock with that
Aries
too.
is the leader of the zodiacs, though. That's the difference.
You tripping?
We
if
the
you-
leader of the
Mm-mm.
zodiacs.
You ain't
Oh.
tripping.
Everybody
You ain't tripping if
different
you don't put
now.
Virgo
Ain't
up
no
there. I'm
bosses
just
but us.
saying. I'm just saying.
Virgo-
Virgos
feel
be doing
about
a little too bit too
And
much.
What we be
Yeah.
doing the
Virgos
absolute
is very
best. Why do you think
logistic. Virgos is
Who?
very technical.
But I'm
Hello,
happy. Let me tell you
Kobe,
something.
Kobe, Nas, Beyonce. That's all I'm
The
saying.
fact that he
Top
already
3.
know who Virgos is some Virgo shit.
They got to call in.
Any-
Meticulous, because we on our
Yeah,
shit.
some Virgo
We
shit.
know everything. We know everything. Don't forget that. Virgos know
yo.
everything, baby.
So click that
What you
bell,
got, babe?
subscribe, like, share. Let me tell you something. So I'm happy y'all here to talk about poetry,
Yeah.
and I want us to I know y'all probably want to switch subject, but I want to be
No.
there for y'all next podcast.
I don't want to switch subjects. The reason why is because like I still want to shout out like some of the poets
Well,
that
go
weren't
ahead,
the
shout
other
it out. Go ahead, bro.
All right.
That give me a chance to drink. Go
Yeah, go. Yeah, you get your sip on. He gonna sip his
He's
drink.
chasing liquor with
I'm
liquor.
taking over. You know what I'm saying? I'm Wayne Brady in this shit like the Chappelle Show. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I'm taking over. All right. All right. So
Wayne Brady?
no real shit. Like
Is Wayne Brady going to choke
I-
bitch?
Wayne Brady gonna have a choke, bitch. Wayne Brady gonna have a choke. Nah. I credit
Rest in peace to Paul Mooney.
Yes.
Yeah,
Lord,
yeah.
yes.
RP to Paul Mooney.
Yes.
Listen, I credit everything that Mike's Wide Open does for the art community to this gentleman right here, to myself, and to Tim in terms of like what we bring to
Tim
the
Joyner, not me.
yeah,
Tim
TMI. What we bring to the table in terms of like what we can do selflessly for the art as a whole. I don't know nobody else in the Wilmington art community that is more well connected, well versed, and just knows niggas than this man right here. My
Good
man
work.
does the most leg work out of anybody in the port city,
Shout out
and
to the
I put
hustlers.
that on my family.
I ain't gonna lie,
Like
shout out to that. Shout out to
my
that. I
man
love
does
that.
the
Travel for
most
it.
leg
Put numbers
work.
on the board.
My
Travel
man,
for it.
my man's is out there like making sure that when we go to other cities, we don't gotta check in. That's on some real shit.
Bro,
Like
it's
He
gotta-
checked it for y'all. He already did the checking in.
I know,
put it-
real
So,
shit.
Rex,
And
you gotta
then when it
put-
comes
you gotta
to
put your city on the map, man.
Eh.
That's part of the job.
God,
You gotta put
man.
your city. If your city not on the map, you gotta put your city on the map.
for real, and when
And
it
I've been putting us on the map in some key positions, man. Richmond, Virginia, shouts out.
Shout
I
out
love
to
y'all.
VA.
when
You
it
ain't
comes to
got-
bringing,
whoa,
when it comes,
Shouts out
wait,
to Charleston,
Whoa,
South
wait,
Carolina.
whoa,
real
whoa.
shit. Yes,
He got to check in Richmond. Oh, you
Bro,
the man.
bro.
Oh, you the
Bro,
man.
shouts out to Charleston, South
Listen.
Carolina.
Whoa.
Shouts out to Augusta,
Hey,
Georgia.
let me say this. Let me say this, Tim.
Shouts out in
Let me say
Charlotte.
this. I had to check in Richmond. You the fucking man. I
Hey,
had
it
to
ain't because
check
of me. It's because of fellow artists that grind like
I
us.
had to.
And see, when other artists see the grind,
Yeah.
they know it, and they know you down.
That's crazy.
So I could call some of my boys in Richmond and ask for a favor,
That's
and they'll
crazy.
come out here for just the bare minimum. They'll cut their standard price because I know they can get a
Man,
favor from
ain't
me
nothing but
too.
hustlers over there.
You
Shout
feel
out
me?
to
Ain't
VA.
nothing but hustlers over there.
Don't speed up. You go your ass
No,
to get
there's
a
a
ticket.
speed trap.
you
Don't speed.
no.
Don't you speed in Virginia. Let me tell you
You'll
something.
get it
Especially
in
if you
the
don't.
mail.
When I had the 18
still the
wheelers
South.
rolling,
You'll
I
get
did
it
the
in the
speed
mail.
limit.
Still the
You know
South.
what I mean? Shout out to the truck drivers out there in VA.
Nah, but
for real.
like
Doing
for
what they
real,
doing.
like we really are like on some comic book shit or on some wrestling shit. Like,
Shouts out to Blurred
So wait,
Together.
wait,
That's
wait,
our
wait.
podcast.
on fifth,
So
real
who-
question.
Wait,
So
shout out to
who's-
who?
Blurred Together. That's our own personal podcast.
Okay, okay.
Us
Yeah,
and our
yeah,
other
yeah.
cousin.
Nice.
Yeah, we've
We
had,
don't-
yeah. They plug. Look, when you watch this
Plug it
podcast.
up. Plug
Wait,
it
wait,
up.
wait, wait. No, TK, watch this. When you watch the podcast, it's gonna be on the ticker right below
There
because
you
it's
go.
been there before, so it's gonna be on the ticker right below, blurred
Yup.
together. So just so you
Shout
know,
out to anybody having a podcast. I feel like everybody can have one. So go ahead and get
for
it.
real.
Hey, voices is out there. You just got to
Fact.
put it out
Exactly.
there. People want to hear you.
A
But
lot. I have
it's
a lot
like-
of people say, "Well, Tim, why you tell people to get a podcast and it's competition?" No, it's not. It's
No.
freedom of speech, and it's very powerful.
Mhm.
Because
Continue,
here's the
Marcus.
thing. News organizations are trash, dude. They're just telling you what to think. You want to know what the real people think? Go see the Real People's podcast. Listen to real people, not people with talking points and agendas.
And I agree
Talk
with
to
that
him.
100,000%. That's
See, he ain't go to 75. He went 100,000. Bang around.
Continue.
All right, so
Yes.
pretty much what I'm getting to is that like we're solidified. Every single last one of us, me, him, and TMI, we all bring something to the table, and then even more so, the people that you don't see behind the scenes that be doing shit that motherfuckers don't even pay attention to, like Anissa.
I love that more. when they're not trying to get recognized for the hustle.
And that's the people that
But
let me tell
deserve
you
it.
something.
They love it. Let me tell you something. Okay, so shout out to Brittany and Anissa.
You just combine their names to Breesa.
I mean, they
Fusion.
always together, like they're the best of friends. Like, but for real, shout out to Brittany and Anissa. Like
Breesa.
these two are ride or die. When I say they homies,
And
they
Zahara.
Bring 'em on
homies.
too. Shit.
Throw Zahara
Yeah,
out
no,
there.
definitely.
Shouts out
Shout
to her
out
as well.
to shout out to
Y'all can
Z.
definitely come on.
Z is another ride or die. You know what I'm saying? Like all these people that you don't know that are not at the forefront of My Spot Open.
You know them. You seen them.
You've seen them.
Let me tell you
But
something.
they make shit happen like behind the scenes. Like we can't do what we do without them.
This is why I have the highest respect for Israel. You do not follow other people, especially on terms to be so cliche. He always follow himself. And I respect somebody who could think for themselves. I did this podcast not to jump on the bandwagon of poetry. I'm not a poet. I'm not ever going to consider myself a poet, even though I know how to do poetry. However,
Dude,
I do
don't even
consider myself.
a poet.
I do consider myself an artist.
Me too. That's how I look at it.
You know what I mean? And I like that Israel always made sure he followed his own bandwagon, regardless on how you feel. You know what I mean? I respect it.
Listen, all I'm saying is that none of us could be anywhere we are without the people that either show up to support us with shows, like to be an audience, or the people that actually garnish up enough courage to get up on the stage.
That
and
is
speak
right.
their
I ain't
big
gonna lie. I ain't
truths.
gonna lie. I picture myself being on stage. I'd be a little bit nervous. I
Dude, there's a lot of
perform,
bravery.
but I'd be a little bit
involved in getting on
nervous.
Stage,
Y'all
especially
definitely
if-
gained
I
a
go up
fan.
there. I can't
You got a
memorize
fan.
shit. Shout out to anybody who recite their own raps, lyrics. Shout out to you. I have the most high respect.
Kev, how
I
long
can't memorize my own shit.
how long has it taken you to memorize a rap?
I ain't never did
Like
it.
you ain't gotta look at a
I ain't
paper.
never
I
did
have a poem /
I
rap
ain't-
that I keep
I
in
ain't gonna
my
lie to
head,
you, like-
so it's hard.
Like I used to write. Well, I used to write music back in the day, but I listen to my shit about like 2 or 3 times back to back, even before I even try to like put my shit down. Like I be trying to have it memorized.
Tough.
Hold on. Let me
Tough though,
interject
right?
though. Sis, Child Terrell.
Hey, Faith.
Do you ever write any music or any poetry?
No.
Remember I tried to get you on that song?
Yeah.
She said,
it sucks. We not gonna talk
Don't do
about
that,
it. but
don't
it
do that.
sucks.
Don't do
I
that.
It's
talking
not
about
for
little-
me.
hey, look. This was some years ago. You know,
all right, but we
shout out
not
to
gonna
my
talk-
sis.
Yeah.
I tried to get on the song and she said this wasn't it, but I tried so hard. Let me tell you something. If you have faith in yourself, her name is Faith.
Faith.
If you have faith in yourself, the possibilities is incomprehensible. If you have faith in yourself, have you ever seen an artist or a person who just you felt like, damn, he know what the fuck he want. It's not that he have an ego. It's not that he's arrogant because he has so much like belief in himself.
Sometimes
just-
they're arrogant.
It's sometimes arrogant, yeah. But it comes down to the faith factor. If you can believe, the moment you say I can't do something, the tongue is very powerful. You fucking yourself up.
If you believe you
can't do
can
something.
and believe you can't, you right.
But if you believe, if I go on the stage to do poetry, I feel like I could do it. But I never want to be a gimmick. You know what I mean? Like I want to go up there and speak my truth. It may not be following the construct of being a poet, but I'm gonna speak my motherfucking truth.
All right, so
You know what I mean?
question, like
Shout out to that statement.
how do you like speak?
He
your
just shout out
truth?
himself.
On some real shit. Like how do you like? What do you like?
I just say that shit.
You say that shit right. You just be amongst your friends. You be like, man, on some real shit. Blase, blase. Like right.
Yeah.
Okay, so for a poet, it's the same thing, but we're just doing it in front of an audience. Like real shit. Like what you do with your homies when y'all passing the L and y'all just like, bullshitting or venting about your day.
L means laundry in this case. We're not incriminating ourselves. Laundry.
He can say laundry, L mean what it means, and niggas know what I mean.
No, they don't. We don't.
Y'all know what I mean. Anyway, so
Yeah.
like it's the same thing, you know what I'm saying?
Damn, I'm loud. I hate when I
But-
drink. I get extra loud.
Instead of venting to like just our homies, we're venting to our homies and we're venting to the public. But when we do that, we're not doing it for ourselves. Like any poet worth their salt will tell you that with their own self-awareness, when we speak these words, they resonate on a level with people that most shit doesn't resonate.
I ain't gonna lie, Faith, you gotta come to one of the shows. I've been to a poetry
Please
jam
come through.
before.
You will
It
enjoy.
was in New York. That's different. It was in Harlem. You know what I mean? Shout out to Harlem World. It was definitely
Harlem World.
Harlem.
Rest in peace to Big L.
Just to give you an idea.
He got family in 910 as well. A lot of people don't know that.
Just to give you,
don't know. I'm surprised you know.
I used to work with his uncle.
Respect. I guess respect. See, you bought a real nigga. I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you good. But just to give you an idea of like the shit that we touch on or the shit that I've dealt with as being a poet, I've had people come up to me after a show, not just an open mic, a slam. Like I'm out there like giving them all my all. I get grown women coming up to me being like, hey, yo, your poem moved me. Like, I ain't think about that shit like that way. Like, I have a whole poem that's dedicated to dudes that have kids that didn't make it. So
Damn.
their women, yeah, let me finish. So, like, you know, their woman had a miscarriage. You feel me? I'm one of them dudes where the women that I was with, unfortunately, miscarried or could not have my children. I have a whole poem dedicated to that and how I felt about that, all right? And how it feels for a man having to go through the fact that his, you know, that his child is not gonna make it. We all know what it feels like for a woman, or you know, that's expressed.
That's a lot.
Or that's
a lot,
known.
though. But see,
It's known for a woman to, you know, feel that, or for her to grieve, or her to go through that, but you don't hear about it from a man's perspective. So for me as a poet, to be able to write that shit down and be able to present it as...
let me interject. So you went through that?
Yes, I've gone through that. I've gone through that 3 times.
Ooh.
Not once, not twice. I've gone through it 3 times.
Shouts out to my homie that also.
And when I wrote, real shit. And when I wrote the poem, I only knew about 1.
Oh, gotta speak some harder now.
Matter of fact, I only knew about 1 at the time. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's for real. Like,
So
I'm just not hearing about the 3. I knew it was the 1. You just not telling me about the 3. I wish I had known.
See,
and so you're not the only one to go through that though. I want my homie to hear that poem you got.
See, you see what I'm saying?
Straight real, like
you see what I'm saying?
That's real talk right there.
So what we do is a perception of the shit that we go through.
We appreciate the brand,
and it helps people. It helps people because it lets people know that you're not alone with what you're experiencing.
And that's why
poetry is like
it.
a big Venn diagram. Yeah, everybody might not fit into every circle, but everybody within there is going to fit in some part of somebody else's circle.
Right.
And that's what poetry is. It's a Venn diagram. So yeah, I might not get the whole truck driving poem, but my homie might. And yeah, I might not be the one that was in there with the miscarriage poem, but my same homie who's in the truck driving poem.
I ain't gonna lie, that miscarriage situation is very relatable.
Listen,
very relatable.
I did that poem in Fayetteville years ago. And I'll never forget this. I don't know who sis was, but shout out to you for approaching me after the show. But she came up to me and she was like, yo, I was in tears in the audience because I never thought about it like that. She was like, I miscarried, but I never once thought about what my mans felt about the situation because I was so just like in what I was having to go through, which no fault to her.
No fault at all.
No fault because no one can like fault her. She going through her own grievances. But what I did with my poem is that I shed a new light on her. Now she's going to go home to her man, or she went home to her man and was like, and probably had a conversation about that. Because she took his feelings into consideration. So that's what poetry does. Poetry, like comedy, like music, like any other art form, is to give you a perception on something you wouldn't think about.
Hip hop is derived from poetry. Let me tell you something. The first art form is poetry. You know what I mean?
That's where the word rap came from.
That's where rap
is the acronym.
That
Rap, rhythm, and poetry.
black girl that went on when I came in talking about how her man, how she made him, like, you know what I'm saying?
Ricky. Yeah, shout out to Ricky
Yo,
Nelson.
that was dope. I actually had to look at myself like, wow. Like,
and she was one that wasn't on the list, right?
I swear to God,
okay,
that shit
so
was real.
the thing about our shows is that when you come in,
She was one that wasn't on the list, right?
there wasn't any official list. That's a damn thing. Like, I went in this shit. I was like, if you come to the show, you on the mic. You on the mic. You come to the show. You come up to the host and you like, yo, I want that.
And people
say
wanted
less.
to bear their soul.
Yeah.
So
they wanted to bear their soul.
My thing is, now that you have this, because I gotta lie, being even a master of ceremony,
MC.
being a master of ceremony
I hear you.
is very powerful. And with power comes great responsibility, right?
Shouts out to Uncle Ben, Spider-Man.
Shout out to Uncle Ben and Spider-Man. By you as poets having this power, my question to you now is, what do you want with this power? What do you want to tell the world?
Everything that we do, we move in humility. And I say that because we have shown time and time again, like the receipts are there. Whatever we do in this art form, we seek nothing but to give back to the community.
Like in the words of Captain Planet, the power is yours.
Power is
Captain
yours, man.
Planet.
Like,
Like,
for real.
He's a
we-
hero.
We don't do this for us per se.
and our power doesn't come, I mean, it comes from us, but also comes from the people that actually support our
Support
shit.
us, man.
Well,
Right.
let me tell you something. Let me
Right.
interject right now because I got to put numbers on the board.
Okay.
The next time I got to be there. I didn't show up to the last time.
We get that.
I
get
got to,
it.
hold on, back up. But sis, you said what time is going to be? March what? The third Friday or what?
March
Shouts out to
15th.
myself since he gave a shout out
well,
to
back up.
himself.
Sis, what's
I
your
just wanna throw a
birthday?
shout out to myself
March
as well.
15.
Girl, your birthday March what?
15.
And when you had the podcast, I mean the poetry.
March 15th.
Girl, what time? What time? What's our birthday?
Tell 'em,
7
And we going to
p.m.
And what
Cheetahs
you
right
doing at
after.
7 p.m.?
I'm not going to Cheetahs.
Girl.
I'm not going to Cheetahs. No.
Listen,
We
gonna
going
turn
to
up after
Cheetahs
the
right
show,
after
all
that.
No, we not. No, we not.
We
I don't have money like
I
that.
got you.
Hopefully these
I got
niggas
you.
ain't gonna be cheating.
They balling. I got a girl. I'm be at home. They going to Cheetahs. I'm going home. They going-
Say that
I
again.
love my girl.
Man.
And
I'm
shout
going
out,
home.
shout out. Go ahead and just get married, bro. That's your fiance?
Yeah,
You
for
go
real.
ahead and get married.
Hey,
Go ahead and get
shout
married. I'm
out
married.
No, my
Shout out-
fiance. I love my fiance. I'm not going to Cheetahs afterwards. They going. I'm
If I
not
go
going.
cheaters,
We
my
gonna
wife
throw
can
it
come
for
with
y'all
me.
there.
I get somebody to babysit my babies. Nah.
All right, so Tim, I know like we done spend a lot of time talking about like Mike's Wide Open and poetry dealing with us, but like on some real shit, there are definitely like some poets out there that and this is where my pride comes in. This is where my pride comes in because I pride myself on being able to like get so many dope artists in one
It's definitely
space at
deadly
one
scene.
time.
Right.
Like I don't know how this shit comes, like grace of the universe or just happenstance, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Right.
But like just the fact that I'm able to we are as Mice Wide Open be able to get the type of artists that we do.
And that's
And
the
you pulled it off
That's the
effortlessly.
reason why we do this.
I can
Because
tell you
Pulled it off
why.
beautifully.
I can tell you
But hold
why
up, hold up,
easily.
but hold up. I gotta say this off gate because our show is a beacon for people around us. Because
Right.
Linda Restrepo, she came from Havelock.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Her and her crew came
She's a
from-
retired
from 2
All right,
hours
so
away.
She's a little story about
Wow.
Linda.
Wow.
So Linda Restrepo is a retired Marine.
Wow.
She both her
And Jay.
her crew of friends
Who would
and
know
Jay.
It was her and Jay Gyro Diaz.
Yeah,
They was
Gyro
coming to
Diaz.
the shows all the way from Havelock every
And
single
they
month.
at the
You
time,
wouldn't know.
yeah, at that time before the pandemic, they were active duty Marines.
Yeah.
They would drive all the way down from Havelock to come to our shows to perform. I don't know how the fuck they found out about our shit.
Linda,
No, they
that's like
found
an
out
hour
about it.
30 minutes,
We
right?
That's
performed
more than
at-
that. It's like 2
No,
hours.
you and I
border
performed at
free.
USW. Remember
About an
that?
hour 30 minutes.
Yes.
And that's when you met her.
That's because
Yes.
And they came out the very next
Linda,
night at our
I
show.
Oh,
wanna
you're
say this.
right.
Linda,
You're right.
you have a mom name, but please come back. We want to see you
Did you
again.
just say mom name?
Facts.
Say mom
But
name?
even without,
Whoa.
but even not just her, like everybody, like Michaela. Michaela is someone who has been coming to Mike's Wide Open shows. Fire on the mic.
Yeah.
Ricky.
Yeah.
Ricky is a Mike's Wide Open alum. She's been on the mic
And
for a bunch
Michaela's
of
from
times.
what? Indiana somewhere?
Something like that, but she's been coming to Mike's Wide Open shows for a minute.
Soon as she moved
we
here.
want
Let
to
me tell you
see
something.
more,
Let me
and we want to see
interject.
y'all come back.
The next time we
Please.
do an episode, because I ain't gonna lie, I want to do a show on an episode of my podcast every time we have a show.
Okay.
I had friends of mine tell me, Tim, why you didn't go up to the fucking poetry jam with Izzy? Tim or other people come up to me, I'm so happy Izzy back in the game and doing what he'd been doing.
Wait, who's saying this? I want to know so I can personally thank
I
them.
don't know if they want me
Wait
to
a minute.
divulge. I
Hey,
don't know
yo,
if they want
we'll
me to
talk.
divulge
We'll
it. If
talk
they-
off mic.
we'll
We'll
talk
talk
It'll be
off
the
mic because
It'll be
I
off
need
the
to.
mic.
Hey, yo, I don't know who you are, but know that I'm gonna hit you up when you watching this. You gonna watch this after I'm gonna hit you up because I'm gonna be like, hey, yo, appreciate you. But like real shit, like if anyone that has been rooting for us or been a cheerleader for the brand or for the format, even
I'm
in
not
our
gonna lie.
absence,
I'm the biggest fan because I ain't gonna say biggest fan. But I'm
we're
a
gonna have to
fan.
get you a shirt.
I got a shirt. But the reason why I'm a big fan is because it's an outlet. you know, I can't rap anymore. I can't do any performances because of coronavirus. That's why I have a podcast. That's how the podcast started. My producer, shout out to DJ Barbarian.
Shouts out.
He got the camera equipment. I'm trying to match him with the camera equipment. I still owe my nigga 10 stacks.
You better pay him too.
Let them know. Let what I just said on the camera. Yeah, I know. 10 stacks. I still owe my producer 10 stacks.
Can't duck it. You done admitted
I want
it.
to end with something though. Let's talk.
Before we, I know we're not ending it right now, but I did want to open it up because I want questions from you, Kev. I want questions from all y'all, like for either one of us about poetry, anything.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. So go ahead.
Yeah, no. I want to. I mean, further on that, I can't wait to see all the acts that came out, and I want to see more acts. I'm actually gonna get up on the stage on the next
Hell
one. So
yeah.
look forward to that.
I'm looking forward
and if
to
I
it.
make it there,
For
I know
real.
I'm gonna make it there. I'm gonna get on the stage too.
I'm gonna get
And
up
let me
there.
tell you something. Let me
Nah,
tell you
I
something.
don't know. It's gonna be your first time. You might have to play the back.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell y'all know right now.
I'm playing.
I know he playing because guess
So
what?
March
I'm gonna
15th?
snap.
Yeah,
on it.
I'm in there.
Let me tell you
Right.
something. I love art, and art is a perception of yourself. When it comes to poetry, it's very vulnerable.
Very.
And I think that's why I love it more. Being a master of ceremony, controlling the audience with your craft is powerful. To have that power, y'all motherfuckers don't understand. Unless if you've been on that stage and utilize the microphone, pause, in front of
You
a
don't have to
whole
pause the
world.
microphone. You talking into one.
What is on your mind, sir?
Like to utilize that
Goddamn
mic,
Christ.
it's power. You know what I mean? And I know my producer want to wrap this up.
Yeah.
And I'm about to wrap this up. But I want to say I appreciate y'all being here. I really, really like this episode because I feel like poetry is important. It's the first craft.
Poetry is very important in terms of, all right, so since we're wrapping this up, we'll do a quick dirty, or what I like to call Barney style. Any veteran will tell you Barney style. But poetry in a nutshell is just open expression with words. I can't put it any more simpler than that. Like, it's literally, taking whatever you know with your words and how to express whatever you're going through and just getting up on the stage and just not being afraid to, or being afraid, but being brave, but being confident in your anxiousness or in your,
Or not
in
even
your,
just
having
being
the drive.
afraid.
Just having
no,
the
no,
drive.
that's what I said. Your anxiousness, having the confidence to get up there and be like, this is what I'm feeling right now. And I feel like venting it and
Shout
giving
out
it all
the
to the
people
world.
who actually go up and fuck up. That just shows humility.
Do you know how many times we done
Humanity.
fucked up? Do you know how many times me and him done fucked up and
Dude,
and some
me tell
people
you
don't even
something.
notice it? Like,
I'll never go up there and recite something I've written. I'm gonna let you know right now. I'm a freestyle.
Why?
Because the remember something, I don't remember my own raps.
Yo, I want to say the poem that I'm going to actually give on
Then-
that
then
day,
go
but I'm going to give you a
ahead, then.
piece
I'm
of it.
just saying,
It's
when I
called,
go up there, it's a full freestyle.
it was called Letter to the President. It's something I put on my mixtape, and I'm just going to give up the couple of bars I had because
All right, spit to
it
him.
was influential.
Okay, well, what did you say then, Nick? What do you say?
Let him talk.
I said hard. It went like this. Let me put it in my mind. It was hard days, rough, but rough enough. You got to think
hold
hard.
on, wait, pause. Don't give the people free bars.
No, I'm gonna give him a little
You
something.
give them all right, give them a little something, but don't give them all of it because I want them to come to the show
Because
so
this
you
is
can
touching to me. If you listen
Do
to
it.
it, it's talking about my
Okay,
life.
do it.
It's giving up my life a little bit.
do it.
Hard days work, but rough enough you got to think hard. Up all night and daddy had a drink card. Mama wildin' talking about she do what the hell she got to do. And I'm out the fucking spot and I'm looking for the next thing to screw. Is this why I'm a product of my environment? Because no Cosby knowledge was coming us, they were supplying us. And I'm going to give it to, that's it. I'm going to give it the rest up on the stage. And that was my letter to the president.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right,
Nice.
let's go
Looking
with
forward to hearing the rest of it.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
so since we're getting ready to wrap it up, I want to hear something from Kev,
Okay.
TK, and Faith. I want to hear
My
like
little sister-in-law.
whatever questions y'all got about poetry. So Kev, quick, kick it off. What questions you got? Lay it on us.
So like,
My check.
so when you come down to poetry,
Mhm.
all right,
What, you ain't ready
what-
for that question.
like
My nigga 2 Chainz going in the wind. Go ahead.
hold on.
Ah!
Damn, give me a second.
Let him do him. Let him do him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm too tipsy. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
but-
drunk.
Turn.
What's up?
I'm going to give you back. Go ahead, Kev.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I just wanted to say though, like, so like when you're doing poetry, I don't really do poetry, so like, how you really get your like thrive to do that? Like,
I mean, is just like any other.
I mean, interject. No.
Hold up,
Izzy
why
is
you
different.
ask me a question?
Izzy
Like,
is different. His
You don't
mama
know
is an
that.
awesome.
Pause.
His mama
Mike,
was an
wait.
English teacher.
Like, hold on.
He
Hold
had
on.
the juice.
Hold on. Let me
He had the
Damn.
juice. Shout out to
Hold on, hold on.
Miss
Let me go
Shout
a
out
little
to
bit
Miss
deeper
Vicky.
with.
Go
Let
ahead.
me go a little bit deeper with my
Go
question.
ahead.
Yeah,
So
go ahead. Go ahead.
what really gave you the idea to really be like, I'm gonna just go over here and tell this story, in that formal fashion, but you know,
Israel
because
been
it's
talking about
not,
poetry
it's
for
not
years.
poetry is
not
not
just
music.
music.
It's not
Not-
music all the time.
Right.
It's different in music. It's
Every
like-
artist, and poetry is no exception. Every artist is driven by the desire to share and the desire to hide at the same time. I can't remember who exactly said that, but it was a
Rap is rhythm and poetry. That's
specific-
all it is.
precisely.
That's exactly what it is.
So specifically, like for me, so to quote my homie and the only other person who can write better than me, TMI, I was more
Any other person that can write better than you?
Damn, I know. I'm a dope
in the
writer
port.
myself.
In the port. Get it.
I'm a
Let's
dope ass
get
writer.
it. All right, let's get it straight.
Yeah.
Besides this man right
Okay.
here, besides him, and besides, put this on paper. And I swear to God, when this episode drops, if anybody want to see me, see me.
See him.
But this person right here,
About to
Fifth
say.
Horseman and TMI are the only
I might have to
person.
see him.
Hold on.
Wait,
Hold
wait.
on.
You have the championship to
We'll
prove it.
talk.
I
We'll
have the
talk off.
championship.
No,
to prove
we'll
it.
talk off. We'll talk off. But hand to God, I swear to
I
God.
ain't trying to be cocky, but y'all don't deny me, damn it.
This man right here, besides Fifth Horseman and TMI, nobody can see my pen in the port city. And I put it on God.
Come on.
If your name, if your name is not TMI,
In the
Fifth
words
Horseman,
of-
wait. If your name, in terms of poetry, because I'm not gonna get into
Okay,
rap.
okay, right,
No,
okay,
in terms of poetry, because I'm
I
not gonna
gotta
get
tip
into
my
rap
hat in the
shit.
ring.
Shout-
Ready.
No. Shout out to Con Sai and Tron of Minds One, because them
Ooh,
and
go back. OG.
because them and Fuzz Jackson are the
Fuzz
only motherfuckers in a port city that got a better pen game than me. Talk to me nice.
Let me tell you
I
my
was about
fact.
to
Let me
challenge
tell
him,
him my
but
fact.
I ain't gonna lie. He might the poetry situation. He might
Tim.
not be rap. I don't know.
Let me tell him my fact. Well, this is a fact about me that y'all don't know.
Talk to
I
him.
have a poem in the Library of Congress. I wrote when I was in the fifth
Yes.
grade.
Talk that shit.
Congress bar.
Talk that shit.
Yeah,
No.
no lie.
Talk that shit.
When I was in the fifth grade, I wrote a poem that they had us do for creative writing. Everybody had to write something. So I wrote something, and mine consisted of slavery. I couldn't tell you what it was, but when everybody saw it, they cried tears.
So dope. you
So
forgot
it
that
was
shit.
so dope. When I found out about it, I had got a letter back received from the Library of Congress saying that my poem was entered into it.
Nice.
That's love, bro.
I mean, it's forever.
No, that's real respect.
That's real shit.
That's real
Faith,
shit.
you got anything to add?
I don't.
Sis.
You don't?
No, she got one thing to add. What time we gonna be there?
So,
The third Friday in March.
March 15th, your
7
birthday.
p.m.
Look,
Hey.
and if they ain't
Yeah.
serving alcohol, I'ma sneak in the alcohol.
No, you
No,
don't gotta
that's
sneak in the
not-
alcohol.
you
We're not
drink
gonna do
it
that. It
You
is a
drink it
non.
Trump, you know
Listen,
what I'm saying?
it is a
Drink it
non-alcoholic
it's
John.
We'll drink
But
before
we'll
we get
drink off
there.
the top.
yeah. Your hand's shaking
Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
That's
look,
not words.
You already know. You already know.
I can't
You already know.
For real, for real.
Hey yo. Hey yo.
Hey, yo, I-
So wait, TK, we didn't get to your question. So what's the question you
He said
got
he had a
for?
fact.
for
He didn't have a
Paul?
No,
question.
that was the fact.
The
That was
fact?
the question.
But I want to hear a question though, like for
He ain't
real.
got no questions.
Nobody got no question.
Shouts out to black folk that don't like
My
to wrap up
producer's
things
trying
on
to wrap
time.
this up. Look at his face. Look at his face.
And you don't, and you, yeah.
I really want to- No. Okay, well, let's touch it.
Microphone check,
I'm gonna
motherfucker.
get a good one.
Microphone.
So
We can hear you. Microphone.
as far as poetry,
Talk to him.
we don't have to say that there's one select way of doing it. Like
No, there's not.
No.
I consider haikus, different things.
Dude,
Haikus are poems.
fine
Yeah,
art,
yeah,
like
yeah.
sushi.
Like masterpieces.
Sushi,
There's
eat it
only
like
one way
coochie.
to view it, right?
Wait,
Is that
what?
it, from the
Pause.
perspective and the
Not out
lens of
here.
the person that's painting it, right? As far as
Yeah, you
that
might
goes,
gotta edit that part.
As
right
far
what
as
you
far
said.
as that
I'm
goes,
gonna
the
do
person
it.
that's painting, but there's more than one way to look at any poem.
right.
Just like there's more than one way to look at any song. There's more than one way to look
Right.
at any poem, man. It's the
That's
same
facts.
shit.
That's facts.
I wanted to touch on that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's the same shit.
Something doesn't have to flow necessarily for you to understand it.
Yeah, it don't gotta
Right.
rhyme.
All types of-
Right.
It don't gotta
all types-
rhyme.
I think that's probably why because I'm so used to rhyming. You don't understand. Shout out
Listen,
to Brooklyn,
you
New
don't-
York. Shout out to Genesis.
Man,
Holmes.
you don't gotta rhyme, man. When it comes to poetry, like we talk, it's the most simplistic, the most, I don't want to say basic, but it is the most like, I don't know, raw. Like you said, it's the most rawest form of expression.
It's for
It's just
form.
you and your words.
It's
It's
for form.
that's all it is. It's just you and your words. And I commend any poet that's coming out to any Mike's Wide Open show that is like rock that shit. Because let me tell you something, y'all rock that shit. If you watching this shit and you performed at a Mike's Wide Open event, you rock that shit.
Shout
I
out
don't
to
give a
the, shout
fuck
out
who
to the
you are.
white lady
You rock
too.
that
I don't
shit.
know her name. I'm sorry,
The little white
Miss. But she was talking about you. Something about coming home tonight.
Come
Talking
on,
to
Tori.
yo, she's
Tori,
talking to her
yeah.
man. Whoever you are, you need to. I'm saying like it really touches on all of those. I don't know, but
No,
she,
Tori.
She wrote that. She wrote that.
Shout out to TMI.
Some of us
Shout out
too
to all my poets. Look, let me tell you something. The next time I want to do a poet with a poet. I want to do
Pause.
pause.
Next time he do a poet, he gonna do chill.
I want to do a podcast with poets. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And so the next time, shout out to Israel for even bringing my homeboy out here. And shout out to you
Hey,
for enlightening us.
Before you wrap this up, can I say something real quick about
Freedom
where
of
we
speech.
about where
But
we
see
at?
that nigga, see that producer right there? He doing this. Spinning
Aaron,
your head right
hey,
there.
I
He been
gotta
doing
say-
that for the last
I
13
promise you,
minutes.
I'm gonna keep it short. I
Look at that
promise.
nigga
Hey,
face.
Aaron,
Look at that
Aaron,
nigga face.
I
He
can't
mad.
because
Go
of
ahead.
lights. I
He said
can't
go
see
ahead.
him.
Mad, bro.
Keep
All
going.
right. Last thing. Listen, on
Go
some real.
ahead. Now and this
on-
ain't on me. This on this nigga.
All right, on some real shit with the timing of it, with the timing
You
of
gonna get mad at
everything,
me, bro. Go
with
ahead.
the timing of
Hurry
everything,
up, motherfucker.
and what me and him talked about before the podcast, because you know what we talked about when we was talking about that genius
Yeah, hurry
shit.
up. Hurry up.
All right, so the fact that where we at right now, what we were talking about earlier about what we watched, the fact that we in Dutchman Acres, we in Southport, North
It's an
Carolina,
accident. It's an
we are
accident.
in 910. Like, this is literally my stomping grounds. I'm on Uncle Simon's property. Shout out to Uncle Si.
Shout out to Sai.
Like, we on
He could cook.
we on my family's
Better get
land,
I
man.
need to get that
Like,
breadfruit. Well,
Oh, he done
matter of
fed
fact,
all us.
I'm happy to that. Shout out to somebody to get Antoine for having me here.
Antoine.
shout out
My
to
nigga
Shout out
Chunky.
to
I call him Chunky because I knew it's elementary.
Shout out to
You know what I
Mose.
mean? I knew when he was.
Shout out to
Let me get some more
Mose.
Black folk will
corn.
never
Hey,
forget your
bro, so
Don't
like-
nickname.
get that nigga no more corn.
Y'all, you gonna be shitting corn out this morning.
That motherfucker done ate
Anyway,
every piece of corn out.
Israel, I respect y'all. Horseman, I respect y'all. Poets, my sister-in-law came on the podcast. She ain't say that much shit. It's okay because we gonna be at the podcast.
Hey, leave her
When?
alone.
When we gonna be at the podcast? when we gonna be at the podcast?
You mean at the show?
I'm in the show. You know.
You lit. It's cool. We gonna be at the show March
the boss,
15th.
Okay, and then my
Morning
producer
Glory.
gonna be there.
Morning-
I'm gonna turn that
morning-
shit to- but it
Morning
is gonna
Glory
be a
Coffee
podcast.
House.
It's gonna be
Morning
there.
Glory
So
Coffee House.
You know, I'm
And the
not that
podcast
rich.
member gonna be on that
You know,
stage. So
and
shout
I'm
out
gonna,
to y'all.
I'm gonna
Shout
get
out
on
to the
there to
great
show
apes.
y'all what I got. But I want to I have the highest level of respect to my nigga Izzy for continuing to do that. He said he was going through trials and tribulations for the past few months, especially since COVID. And you know, I relate.
It wasn't just me though. It was everybody.
It's a lot of people.
That's
And
why we did
I'm
the
happy
show.
that he's actually doing the show. I want him to do the show. Shout out to Tim Joyner for doing the show. Shout out to Horseman. I didn't even know he was a pioneer like that. Shout out to this thing. I put mad
Hey,
respect.
if you know, you
10
on
plus
his
know.
years
name.
in the game.
Put mad
Plus.
respect on this game. Shout out to my podcast members who made it there at the show. I didn't even make it at the show.
We know you wasn't there. Stop saying it.
I gotta bring it up, motherfucker. I gotta bring it up. And shout out to my sister-in-law for actually coming out, even though she ain't had that much to say. This is Great Apes Cafe. I hope you like, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Tell me how you feel about this episode. Are you gonna show up to my nigga who gonna make that performance happen with the poetry? Are you gonna be that person who won't be no bogus, lame person? Just leave a comment. I don't care if it's good, bad, or ugly.
Look,
You know
if
who
you
you
watching the
are.
All poets
podcast,
welcome.
if you watching the podcast and you come out to the show, just come tap me on the shoulder. I would definitely let you have the mic. The
Shout
mic
out
is
to my
yours,
producer
man.
on
Talk your
the
shit.
music.
Talk
We'll be
your
trying to get you
shit.
to wrap up
I'm
in
at my
15
nigga
minutes.
Chucky house, aka Antoine. I call him Chucky because I knew him since he was a little.
You just said that.
I gotta say it again though, because I'm at his house. And he ain't on this episode. but
We
he got that
live, baby.
fire,
We
fire.
live.
You know what I mean? Look at that
Great
fire.
Apes, baby. What's
You got
happening?
the
Mike's
fire.
wide open.
You know what I mean? This
We
is
doing
Great
it again.
Apes Cafe.
Hey, Mike's
Who
wide
thought
open,
the
baby.
gong?
Mike's
Like,
wide open. You already know what it
subscribe,
is.
Mike's
You know
wide
what
open
it
is the
is.
squad. Great Apes is the
appreciation for
podcast.
Mike's wide
people.
open, baby.
Let me tell y'all something.
Mike's wide
Great
open, baby.
appreciation for people,
Mike's wide
entertainment, and
open.
success.
You already know.
Said, we out. I done hit my nigga TK head.
Hey,
TK, don't beat my
Boko.
ass up.